back in front of the hot lights and ready to take everybody's piercing questions. I know Mike is going to grill me. He always does.
Oh, yeah, I'll throw you a few curves already.
Yeah, well. Hey, I thought great questions. I thought the media panel did a great job, and I thought they had some penetration. And you know, the one question that kind of surprised me was the student loan bankruptcy question. But I thought it was a good question. I thought it was a serious issue, and it was not one that's drawn a lot of national attention. But it's certainly something that is of concern here in this community and really throughout the district. You know, let's face facts. The 12th Congressional District is not a wealthy district by any ways or means, and most of the people who get an education here get it via student loans and via our public education institutions. And of course, that's why this university and its sister university at Edwardsville are so important, particularly since I'm a life member of both alumni associations. All right, I'm ready to take questions. Mike, you're first.
Sure.
Because I knew you would be anyway.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Very kind of you. During the debate, of course, Mr. Plummer referred to you as a trial lawyer. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of good people are trial lawyers. But he, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, he insinuated that you drive jobs out of the district because of the fact you're a trial lawyer.
Well, you know, that's a business, that's a Republican talking point. I'm not even going to respond to that, Mike, because it's so silly. Anybody who knows my practice knows what I did, and they know what I've done and what I stand for. You know, I've created more jobs in my career than Jason Plummer's ever thought about creating. His dad has a big company. His dad has done a great job. Jason Plummer graduated from college 8 years ago. For 4 years, he's been running for office. You know, he serves as a vice president of his dad's corporation. That's great. I'm glad his dad gave him a job. So let's talk about real job creation. That's small businesses. Okay, who else?
Tell us a little bit about how you're going to increase small business jobs.
Well, you know, I didn't get a chance to talk about that very much in the debate, you know, because of the format. It was only a one minute debate. But as I told you, we need to level the playing field. We need to give the same advantages to mom and pop businesses that General Electric gets. Or, you know, pick a corporation pick a mega billion-dollar corporation that didn't pay any taxes last year because of these different tax breaks. You know, for example, these tax credits for hiring long-term unemployed or for hiring veterans are far too complicated. The paperwork is way too much, and what we need to do is simplify that process so that we can get those people working. Once they're working, and it increases the economy and it increases tax revenues, and that's where we need to go. Okay?
I'd like to revisit
Who else?
No,
somebody else gets before you get a second one, Mike.
Sure,
Come on. Gary, are you going to grill me again, or are you just going to sit back there?
I'm listening.
Okay.
Seems to have the same answers.
All right, I might be able to have the same answer twice. I think I do.
You're stuck with me again? I'll actually go back to the issue of gun ownership. You defended the Second Amendment, of course. But realistically, do you think Congress in its present situation can deal effectively with the issue of gun violence in this country? I mean, is there really any, I mean, it seems like it's already been decided at the state level all across the country. Would you address that?
Well, you know, most of the Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms. State laws govern a lot of the other requirements. You know, Illinois has its FOID card. So I think that we have such disparate jurisdictions that I don't know that it would be possible to come up with an overarching policy. Interestingly, I thought Paula Bradshaw made an interesting comment when she was talking about violence and culture and how we need to look at that. You know, the culture of violence, the stuff you see on television, the stuff our kids are exposed to 10 and 12 and 15 hours a day, that's just really, I have to question the appropriateness of it.
I mean, realistically, is there anything Congress can do about, you know, prevent future shootings like we had in Aurora, Colorado, or elsewhere?
You know, Mike, Norway, very stringent gun controls, and yet you had that ambush in Norway where you had the guy get dressed up as a police officer, set off a bomb and kill all his kids. I don't have an easy answer for that. If there was an easy answer there, somebody would have thought of it. We're going to have to work it. Yeah. Somebody else. Somebody else. Yes, sir.
You talked about the future of working with coal in Southern Illinois. Talk a little bit about what you see for renewable energy.
Well, as I indicated in my brief answer, what we need is a long-term strategic energy policy. You know, that's something that we as a nation don't have. The reason that we got embroiled in Iraq and continued on into Afghanistan is because of our dependence on foreign oil, because of what we've done in the Middle East. And we have to end that dependence. We have to be energy sufficient. And coal is a critical part of that. You know, Ms. Bradshaw talked about all the pollution problems and et cetera. But really, we have the answers. What we have to do is drive the costs of those answers to a reasonable point. You know, Mr. Plummer talked about, you know, he wants to end all regulation and all regulation is bad. That's nonsense. We have to have reasonable, responsible regulation. You know, people, the carnage that used to take place in coal mines, people dying in coal mines, was because of irresponsible ownership of those mines. And we don't have nearly the accidents that we do today because of reasonable regulation. So, you know, as I said earlier, when I was a young man, I used to think every answer was black and white. Well, they're not black and white. They're gray. And you have to balance interests so that between responsible regulation and ensuring that we have all of the energy that we need.
Speaking of fossil fuels and coal, would you support some type of effort to limit greenhouse gas emissions by putting a tax on coal or through a cap and trade system?
No.
How come?
No. I think that the cap and trade system as it was proposed is not a workable solution. I think that what we have to do is drive the research and development so that we can use Illinois coal with its higher BTUs. It's a more efficient use of energy than using low BTU Western coal. Anybody else?
One more, or is that it?
Just a follow-up question. Do you support the Next Gen project, you're probably familiar with it, where you experiment to turn the coal stacks upside down and pump CO2 into the ground? That's proven to be very expensive. Do you think we need to put more investment into that?
You know, there was a huge drive for that, Mike. And once again, what we have to do is balance the cost with the benefit. And I don't think that the technology is at the point today where the cost benefit would work out. All right, is that it?
Yep.
All right.